Nick speaking, and welcome to this hobby hangout. Welcome everyone. So I am still building my Ghost Ark. So that's the plan for today. Do a couple of hours probably, and we are going to have a chat about, well, all things, and mainly 10th edition. So yeah, this should be fun. Now, just a quick update on what I've done since the last live stream, because this is live stream number 2, building these Ghost Arks. So I have now cleaned all the mould lines off of all of these pieces, and I'm ready to glue. Once this is done, then it's mainly going to be like the warriors and the guns that I've got to clean up. And then I can start magnetising them. So yeah, looking forward to that. And obviously since the last stream we've had some very big news from Games Workshop. Probably not really surprising, but the launch, well, not the launch, but basically saying that 10th edition is coming in the summer. And we've got some obviously snip bits of all the new rules which are coming, or some of them. Of course, nothing in there for Necrons specifically, but then we wouldn't really expect that. I mean, after all, third edition, I've got third edition on the mind. After all, 9th edition, of course, was major for Necrons. So yeah. Right, let's have a look, see who's in the chat. We've got Gothhead. Hello there, how you doing? He says, hey Nick. We've got Clobilob. Clobilob. Hello, Clobilob. Let me know if the sound's okay. I'm assuming you can hear me okay. The image seems to be okay. The stream seems to be in excellent condition, so that's good. Right, I've just had a lot of fun actually, believe it or not. I've been setting up my Wargaming table. Not in a match play competitive way. I've been setting it up to look cool because tomorrow is my birthday and I'm having a special game with Richard. We're playing a more fluffy game, and the reason why I've got third edition on my brain is because we are playing, or I am playing, my third edition Necron list. Which will be a lot of fun. I can't wait. I'm also going to be playing a 4th edition mission, my favourite mission of all time. It's called the Rescue Mission, so I'm looking forward to play that. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So when I set the terrain up, I just said, sod it, I'm not going to look at line of sight blocking and all the rest of it. I've just set it up to look as cool as I can make it, and I have to say I think it looks really cool. It's almost like a large kill team board, and I think it's going to suit the mission well, and we're just going to play, basically if you can see it you can shoot it, if you're touching a piece of terrain you get cover save, really basic rules. I think the terrain rules sometimes are a bit complicated currently in 9th, although it seems like terrain rules are changing for 10th edition, so it'll be interesting to see what changes they make. But yeah, I cannot wait, and setting up the terrain just reminded me of the old days, you know, where you used to put your terrain on the table and make it look as epic as you could, and that's what I've done. So hopefully you'll enjoy the battle reports when it comes up. So whilst every other YouTuber in the world is putting up 10th edition videos, as of next week I'm going to have 3 3rd edition videos. I've got a couple of list building type videos and the battle reports, which I hope to be up next Friday or Saturday. So yeah, that's what's happening very shortly on the channel. I do have a battle report up later today at 2:30, and that's going to be the Jack of all trades list 2 Bats Rep. So hopefully you'll enjoy that work as well. Right, let's go. Sounds good. Excellent. Happy birthday for tomorrow. Thank you very much, Living Mersal. We have Steve from Who Took My Dice. 10th is going to be a great change, I think. Hopefully it will improve things. I'm sure it will. And we're going to talk about 10th, obviously, well, not in depth, but in a reasonable amount of in-depth. But yeah, I think it's going to be, as always, great at the start of the edition. I'm sure over time it will start to get a bit bloated, because they always do, let's face it. I mean, I've been playing since 3rd edition, I know how it goes. But it's going to be fun. And some of the changes sound really good. So let's actually get some hobby going, because that's what I'm here for. And we will have a chat about some of the changes. I started in 3rd, yeah, the nostalgia. I know, it's amazing, really. I love 3rd edition. Well, I say I love 3rd edition. I mean, it's obviously where I started. I think my favourite edition was 4th edition, actually. I liked the missions and everything in 4th edition. And to be fair, when I started in 3rd edition, we were probably about halfway through it when I started. And then I remembered the chapter approved test play rules for the upcoming next edition. That's when you could shoot and be shot at in assault in those test play rules. It never made it into 4th edition, those rules, but yeah. Yeah, it's just fun times, fun times. 2nd was my start, so many years. Yeah, I had the 2nd edition book and the Road Traeger book, but I never played those games. So, right, let's have a look at this. So we've got all of these ready to glue, and we've got the instructions. So it's going to be a pretty simple glued together. And what I'm going to try to do is keep them in facing the same way as I glue them. After I've glued them, because I remember when I built these last time, I remember thinking, oh, why didn't I keep them in order, even though they're the same parts. I'm not quite sure why, but that's what I remember, so I'm going to try to keep them in order. I remember my first list: Lord and Orb, 20 warriors, 500 points. Yeah, sounds about right, because the Lord was what, 210, I believe, if you had the Veil of Darkness and the Resurrection Orb and the Phase Shifter, if I remember rightly. I always remember 210 for the Lord. Warriors were 180 points for a unit of 10. Yeah, I remember those days when Necrons were expensive. Right, let's get gluing. Let's get gluing. So we need one of these and one of these. Okay, and then they just glue together like that. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. Okay. So apparently we are getting indexes, obviously, free downloads. We're going to get data cards for the actual each unit, which I believe is you can buy them. I suppose like a big deck of cards, maybe. It's going to be different actually, but I'm quite looking forward to those changes. They seem quite good. They said, I know why I've got my clippers. I can't glue with clippers, can I? They said that we're going to get codices, obviously, over time, and they're going to be a bit smaller. These books, which will be interesting. Now, I personally love a book, so I will probably still buy the book. I'll probably still buy the data cards. I'll probably still buy it all, even though there are free downloads. That's just me. I appreciate, obviously, a lot of people won't want to do that or think that's a good idea, but I like the physical thing, personally. Now, when we will get the Necrons a codex, we obviously have no idea. I mean, it could be quite early on, but I have a feeling it won't be this time, and I hope not. I would suggest around halfway through the edition, or maybe like a year into the edition, which is what, a third, because excuse me, lost my voice. Because let's face it, the edition's what is every 4 years, 3 years, yeah, 3 years since 9th. Alright, so that's one done, and that can go in the box. I've got a box here where I'm going to put them when they're glued. So yeah, personally I will be buying the books as well. Only a mech can glue with clippers. Yeah. Now, yeah, some of the big changes. I've got some little notes here because I couldn't remember everything. I haven't actually watched the Warhammer video on the Twitch. Obviously, I was asleep, and I had an option of spending like an hour and a half watching the stream or just watch some YouTube videos. So I watched YouTube videos, all specs, tactics, obviously a few others, to give me some ideas of what was going on. And yeah, very, very interesting. The Forge World stuff is going to be available for free downloads as well. That's awesome. I'm very happy about that. So, I mean, not having to get that stupid Forge World book to get the rules is very useful. I found a mould line. Must have missed this one. Okay, 2. So the things which stood out to me was almost not a backward step, but it seems like potentially they are taking some old rules and bringing them back again. It's an age thing with physical copies, just kidding, I'm saying. It probably is an age thing, to be fair. It probably is. Yeah, so the morale phase is gone, where now apparently we don't lose miniatures from morale. Instead, we get battle shock. Oh no, don't stop gluing glue. Yeah, so we get battle shock, and it's now done in the command phase. This reminds me of the old editions, where basically, yeah, the morale was done at the beginning of the turn, effectively. And then if you failed morale, I think it was called pinning. I think you got pinned. So basically you couldn't do anything that turn if you failed your morale. So it's going to be interesting to see what this the battle shock rules actually stop a unit from doing. Maybe just weaken it slightly, like maybe it can't move or can't shoot or whatever. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, morale either did a lot or didn't do much, I noticed in 9th edition. Like, it either had a major impact or you just, you know, you lost a model and that was about it. So yeah, that's one big change, and also reminded me of some of the old editions. And then the other one was the psychic phase, which obviously is no more. So the psychic phase is gone, and it's going to be pretty much back to how it used to be before the psychic phase came, where you do it in you do your psychic powers in the appropriate turns. So presumably, like, blessings are done in the command phase, and then you probably things like smite will probably be done in the shooting phase. Now, whether that's going to make a difference to Necrons, because obviously we don't know what our rules are going to be, but I mean, I can't see that we will lose like reanimation protocol, for example, because that's obviously one of our major rules. It always has been. So if those psychic powers become shooting attacks, how RP works now, potentially we might get RP against them, hopefully, depending on how RP works, of course. Alright, we've got quite a few comments here. Right, Gothhead says, models now have OC, yep, objective control, like a Tormagant has 2 per unit, a Cascode's like 15. Yeah, so I'm assuming it's basically a bit like double objective secure used to be. So if you were objective secure, you count as double. So I'm assuming they're sort of implementing that, maybe. So probably rather than just having objective secure, each unit type can hold objectives differently or easily. So probably troops would be the easiest to hold it, then maybe elites would be the next easiest to hold it, and then like heavy support can probably hold it but not as easily, and that might just take away that objective secure thing, which well, for Necrons obviously being the main way to play at the moment, it's going to be interesting how that sort of all pans out. So yeah, those two there, the psychic phase and the morale phase, almost going back to how it used to be. I hope they take a lot from Age of Sigmar. I play Nighthaunts and there are a lot of similarities to Necrons. And I have to say that Games Workshop did a really good job at EOS. Yeah, I've not obviously played EOS in the recent times, and I have heard that like 40k is moving towards EOS a bit in terms of their rule set. I mean, nobody would want the two rules to be the same, would they? So they'd have to be different. But if they're learning from that game and it's got some good rules, then probably a good idea to implement them. Every faction will have a new codex of sort at the release of 10th, with the new faction rules and stratagems available online. Yep, so that we can have, I think they call them like index. So they did that with 8th edition, so on release they released like a Xenos index. So you had like your Tyranids and your Necrons and stuff in there, with all the data sheets. So you could literally start playing from day one. So it seems like they're doing that for this, so that would be good. That's interesting. Even though I had it in the right slots, it didn't match up. Let's just check the others. Seems okay. I think it's just the way it is. And obviously these eventually will be glued together. Not like that. Like that. There we go. Cool. Right, another one done. So excuse me if I get a rather froggy throat. I am currently fasting because it's Ramadan. So yeah, I'm not able to drink. So expect some croaky voice by the end. I built a cryptic from a Nighthaunt model, quite fitting. Yeah, I've seen those type of conversions before, they do look good. That feels clean and shiny. I like it that the rulebook and the data sheet are going to be online for free. I think it's a great idea. Indeed, it's about time, isn't it? It's about time. Is anyone else doing any hobby at the moment? What you're working on? Or you're all at work? Wait, you converted? No, not me. I've seen them online. A few like converted units for Necrons with those Nighthawk models, flayed ones and stuff. Okay, I've messed up these. I was going to keep them in order, but I haven't at the moment, so oh well. So we're going to have less CP in this new edition, and not only that, we're going to have less stratagems, so at least faction stratagems. So it appears to be that we're going to get 6 only per army, and then there's going to be more universal ones, which it's going to be easier to be aware of what stratagems people have got. In terms of Necrons, it'll be interesting to see which stratagems we either keep, or maybe they'll just be brand new stratagems to match the new army that we're going to get, because effectively this is going to be a new army. You would have thought. You would have thought. I'm wondering if in many cases our units, and probably most units in the universe, will just be a pretty much copy and paste. Probably a copy and paste, and there may be a stratagem put into their data sheets that they would normally have to pay for, like a special rule, like scarabs exploding. Maybe that will be on their data sheet. It's hard to tell. I mean, it's hard to predict. I like spiders, so I should get mine done too. Yeah, spiders are cool. I did, missing chat. Let's scroll down. Doing something like warp storm points or blood points for Necrons resurrection protocols might be kind of cool. Would give us a chance to maybe to bring back the Triarch Stalker in the game or something. Yeah, I talked about this in the last stream, but I am really hoping they fix RP, make it better than it is at the moment. I'm not a huge fan of RP. It feels like I haven't got RP most of the time when I'm playing. You know, I hardly bring back a model. Probably because my dice rolls are so bad. Hello there, thanks so much for the Tesseract magnetisation video. Mine is now incredible, thanks. You're welcome, I'm glad it was useful. I know what your question is alluding to. I'm free today and I'm building my Iron Warriors right now. Traitor. I nearly did Iron Warriors, funny enough. I was told I wasn't allowed to. No, when I first started, the story goes, I was introduced to the hobby at work. I was 30 and I had these couple of 18-year-old colleagues. They said, oh, we're playing Warhammer tonight. Do you want to come and join us? And I remember saying, no, I'm too old for that. And they go, no, you're not too old, you're not too old. Come on, come and join us. I said, okay then. So I played, funny enough, I was playing Orcs. And my buddy had Tyranids, and had the first game. The Zone Throats did his warp charge thing, warp blast, that's it, and destroyed this orc buggy in one turn. I thought it was so cool. And as I was playing, like, you know, I was really into like science fiction anyway. So seeing like Tyranids and orcs on the table was like really, really cool. So yeah, I was hooked from that first game, and then I spent the next couple of weeks trying to work out what army to go for. You know, from the Games Workshop store, you know, going in, having a look at the codices, and it was a choice between Iron Warriors and Necrons. And at the time, Iron Warriors were like really, really good, and so were Necrons. My buddy said, he said, probably just about cope with Necrons, but not Iron Warriors. So, yeah, I went for Necrons. But I did prefer the picture on the Codex more. It's what got me into Necrons, really. I just love that picture. And of course, I was a huge Terminator fan as well. Looking forward to the challenge this weekend. Yes, it will be awesome. I cannot wait, Rich. I've set the table up just a second ago. It looks awesome, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to the game. My brother and me started like 4 weeks ago with 40k, and for us the 10th edition sounds really promising with free and less rules. Absolutely, and I think that's what they're going for, aren't they? They're trying to get more people into the hobby, make it easy, you know, an easy way into the hobby. But watch out, because whilst free rules are free. If it's anything like the previous edition, when we've had a splinter of free rules, but you still need to buy stuff to play the game properly. So hopefully it won't be the case. You know, hopefully we will get proper rules all free. If you want to buy the codices and the books and the cards separate and have them for your collection, then that's an option. But we'll see how free these free rules are. The Obelisk is actually really good. I've played it a few times, and yeah, it's a lot better than it was. Obviously, it's come down again in points, which is great. If it stands still, that's great. So what I used to do is take the pre-game move dynasty so that I could move it turn 1, before turn 1, sorry, move it forward onto an objective preferably, and then not move it anymore and just stand on the objective shooting the guns, because obviously when you don't move your gun stats are much better, so that's good. And the only issue that I had is it doesn't have that invulnerable save, and Richard is easily able to take it down because of all of his horrible orc weapons. Obviously we've got a different way to build our lists as well, so the detachments are different. For a minute there I thought I had too many of one and not of the other, but no, I've got the right amount. So yeah, the list building is going to be interesting. They've sort of brought it in with Arks of Omen, and my suspicion was that 10th edition would be very similar to Arks of Omen, so less restrictions. I think in a lot of ways it's very good, and it certainly will make things easier, and it's almost like a step back in time. GW are very good at recycling stuff and then calling it the best thing since sliced bread. It's like, hang on, you had that like 3 editions ago. Why'd you get rid of it for then? But no, yeah, it's going to be a lot easier to list build, hopefully. Some more, you know, different types of armies on the table. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, we're going to have warlords. Not sure about, I don't know whether warlord traits and relics and stuff will all be there, because according to them, the codex rules are only going to be 2 pages. So 2 pages is not a lot. Are we even going to have dynasties now? Are there going to be different dynasties? Is it, or is it just going to be Necrons? It's interesting. Hello Nick. Hello Malignus, the Undying King. I'll just call you the Undying King. I up to 4:45 in the morning feeding my 4-month-old daughter. I've been there, done that. Well done. Oh, there you go. See, I'm just at the right time. Early morning TV can be a nightmare. I was watching. I remember when I was up feeding my daughter, like really early in the morning, and there was this program on. It was like, it was almost like a swimming pool beach party. You know, just people dancing around a swimming pool. It was really weird, but there was literally nothing else on for me to watch. I wanted something completely different, but I don't like the Chaos models, but I like Iron Warriors from the lore. So I mainly use Horus Heresy models. Checkmate. That's fair play. Yeah, fair play. It's a bit like me. I've got 2 Space Marine armies, but I don't class them as Space Marine armies. I've got Space Wolves, but they're the 13th Company Space Wolves, and they're very thematic, very fluffy. They can't have vehicles. They had the Curse of the Wolven, which normal Space Wolves at the time didn't have. We had our unique units in there, which were the Wolven, which weren't in the normal codex. And come on, space puppies. You had wolves in there. So from my point of view, they weren't really Space Marines. They were more Xenos than Space Marines. That was my excuse anyway. And then I've got obviously Emperor's Children, which again I don't really see as Space Marines or Chaos Space Marines. I just see them as almost like demons, because that's how I model a lot of mine. My Emperor's Children are very they're on the change, let's say. So I've got a good amount of demon parts in them. And obviously you've got demonettes as well. And I'm going to have 60 demonettes in my army. I don't care whether I can take them or not. I'm going to do 60 demonettes. I want my army just to look thematic. I think they said different dynasty and the like get different set of faction stratagems. Okay, yeah, that's interesting. I seem to remember, yeah, that. So if that is the case, then the book's going to be filled with quite a lot of stratagems. You just can only use 6 of them, right? It works, it makes sense, it's easier. This is the big question, Nick. Do you think we will finally get an Emperor's Children Codex book in 10th? Ah, so difficult to say, isn't it? I'm going to be a bit negative and say no. I don't think it's going to happen. Sorry. Right, that is them done. All glued together. And if you missed the last live stream, I've done all of this as well so far. So I've got the 2 drivers in here. They're ready to be painted. I'm going to glue them together separately. Got the 2 back pieces done, apart from all the stuff which I'm not going to glue on for painting. In the last stream I did the guns, so I've got the 2 big guns done, and I've got the front section done as well. So we are getting there, we're building everything that I can, getting ready to magnetise this, or these, there's 2 of them if you didn't know. So let's have a look at the instruction book. Okay, so we are looking at the Gauss flayers now. What I hate about my magnetising tutorial for the Ghost Ark, which I made like 10 years ago, is I call these guns Gauss, Gauss. Yeah, I call these Gauss, which is that's wrong anyway because it's Gauss, but I call them Gauss. But more importantly, I call them flyers and not flayers. Believe it or not, ever since I started playing until that video, and I had some comments saying they're not flyers, they're flayers, I always thought they were called flyers. I have no idea why. Maybe I'm just dyslexic. But ever since I've been playing, I've always called them Gauss flyers. Because they are Gauss flayers. I hate that video for that reason alone. Okay, so this is going to be a lot of scraping because I'm going to have 10 on that one and 10 on the other one. That's 20. And then we've got the build those bits, and then we're not too far off. Obviously the warriors as well. So it's gun time. It's gun time. This is going to take forever. Still, we can do it. We can do it. Gauss has to be pronounced German. Let's go to 10th. I'm about to start to build my Silent King. Excellent. Have fun with that. Watch out for those 2 little Triarch men, because whoever designed the building of those should be shot. Now these are all the same, so I don't have to worry about what numbers what. So they're just all guns basically. Oh, it reminds me now, I've got to paint all these things. Now I am going to magnetise these on both of the models, even though one of them I'm going to basically build as a Ghost Ark. I'm going to magnetise them as well because it's easier for storage. You know, it just takes up less space if you can take those guns off and put them in a box. So I'm going to magnetise them. Originally, I didn't magnetise them for storage. I magnetised them for weapon destroyed results, and because obviously I flipped the model upside down, so I wanted the guns to be facing the right way. But yeah, in the old days we used to have weapon destroyed on a vehicle, which was great if you had magnetised guns, because then you could just literally take the gun off and you physically didn't have the gun anymore, so there was no confusion. That's why on my Doom scythes and Night scythes I've magnetised the Tesla guns on there, even though you don't need to. I did because it just means if they ever bring back the rule, and let's face it, Games Workshop like to bring back the rule. Hello Simply Wargaming, member for 24 months, thank you so much, that's awesome. How are things? Middle of the day hobby hangout. How decatant. Yeah, my English isn't very good. I'm very well, thank you very much. Yeah, 24 months. Wow, that's awesome. You now have the top of the range, full green Necrons avatar or logo, whatever you want to call it, by your name. So that's really cool. Yeah, no, I really do appreciate all of the support that I get in the membership. It is really, really useful. And obviously any money that I get from the channel goes straight back into the channel. So I've got my most recent purchase is what you can't see, but here my Ghost Arks light. So I've got a new light stand, the light, and then I bought the diffuser separately. It's a really cool light. It's like flat, and then you can roll it up if you want to. So it's transport's really easy, but also it doesn't take much room up. The depth is like that much on it, so it's really, really cool. Not cheap, not cheap. It's like nearly £300, but I think it was a good investment. Can't believe it's 24 months. I know, it's amazing how quickly it's gone. So yeah, I think pretty much most people who supported me almost from the beginning of when I did the memberships will now be on green badges, which is cool. Right, guns, guns, guns. So one thing they did say about the new detachments, and one concern about being able to basically take loads of units on the table is obviously spamming stuff, particularly stuff which give you bonuses. So then they said that if you have the same bonus on the table more than once, you can only use it once. So I'm wondering how that might affect, if we still have the rule, my will be done. I mean, I'm pretty used to having 3 my will be dones on the table, usually with the Silent King doing it twice, and then the command barge, or previously, before you had to pay so much for the CPs, I used to have the double CP, double my will be done on my command barge, so that I can get lots of my will be dones on the table. I probably might not be able to do that anymore, so that's interesting. By the way, thanks for sending me Orcs boarding patrol box for my recent birthday. It hasn't arrived yet though. Oh yeah, I know that postman. It's like terrible. It's terrible. So Yeah, happy birthday, Dave. I obviously posted it on your Facebook. Yeah, nearly the same day as me, because my birthday's tomorrow. And I think that's all of them. So I had my hair cut earlier this morning. I was getting very long. So I always think about maybe I should have a different hairstyle. I've had quite a few different styles over the years. Flat tops and French crops, and I had it shaved at one point. Then I basically went back to this one because I thought I looked the best with this haircut. So I went back to this one, and then and now I don't know. It's almost like this is me. If I change my appearance too much, it's not going to be me on the channel. Plus, my fiance likes my hair. She says it reminds me of Tintin. She seems to like it. I say, well, am I getting too old for this haircut? She said, no. She said, give it another 5 years and then change it. Okay. Happy birthday for tomorrow, thank you. That will be a skill of one of our HQs. It could well be the HQs might just have that ability. You know, can use mine, would be done twice. Have a good weekend of gaming and birthday activities. Thank you, John. I am seriously looking forward to it. As I said, I've got some videos coming. One on Monday, one on Wednesday, one on Saturday next week, all about my 3rd edition Necrons. But I can tell you now, oh, I loved it. I love doing those videos, and my army, it looks so cool on the table because pretty much everything got a green rod, and that in itself just makes the army look like classic. You ever gone radical with dreadlocks or Mohican? Yeah, I've had, not dreadlocks, I have had Mohican. I had the David Beckham one, where it's just on the top in the middle, and I've had it going all the way down the back, but not that long. I think I had that once. Happy 35th birthday tomorrow. Thanks, Dave. Yeah, not quite that age, but close. I'm close. So no, if for reference, I am actually 51 tomorrow. But I've decided I might just stay 50 for about 5 years, because I think I might get away with it. Yeah, 51, unbelievable. My mum's 81 now. Don't have my dad with me, unfortunately. I lost him 2 weeks after Necron Girl was born, sadly. That was a nightmare time for me, because Necron Girl was born, and then a week later she wasn't feeding properly, so she had to go into it was a hospital, but obviously a specialised hospital, and then she had to be like fed with tubes and stuff. So she was in there, and then my dad was taken ill, and he was in hospital as well, in intensive care at the same time. So I was going from intensive care with my dad to the baby hospital with my mum. And then Necron Girl came out. My dad saw Necron Girl once, just in the chair in the baby seat, and he saw her. He was like, he's really ill, and he looked up and he said, "Very nice," and then I went down. So he did actually see her, which was nice. But yeah, then he passed away. So he passed away in 2 weeks. So yeah, he just got ill, and then it was multiple organ failure in the end. The long and short of it was from smoking, because he had emphysema, so his kidneys and his lungs and everything, they just all failed. But ultimately it was from smoking. You look like 15 years younger. Good genetics, Nick. Oh, thank you. but not as good as Necrons, who can last thousands of years and look roughly the same. That's why I don't like rusty Necrons. It's like, no, Necrons wouldn't rust. Come on. Right, I'm guessing this is a lot of guns. And I can see all the mould lines on these things. They go right the way round. Didn't you turn 50 just a moment ago? I probably did. Yeah, it's I know, it's gone so quick. So quick. Right, let's check we've got them all. So there should be 20. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Now this is where I wish I had like magical powers and just go done. Right, all the mould lines are scraped off. You can only do that with video editing. You've opened up a topic which is weathering. Should Space Marines and the Bosch Bad Moons Orcs have weathering on their unit armour? That is a good question. I personally used to hate weathering. I used to like everything clean, like shiny, nice. Then when I got my 13th Space Wolves army, they were supposed to be battle damaged, so that's how I did it. I mean, I'm taking a knife to like a nice like armor plate and just like chipping out stuff and then painting it all weathered. Looks cool. So now I like weathering. I don't weather my Necrons, but yeah, I think like as you say, like Space Marines and Tau and stuff and Orcs, then weathering's good. I always paint my Orcs like pretty dirty, let's say. Has it really been a year already? It has. It has, amazingly. So I'm going to look at my notes. I think I've covered most things about the 10th edition because we don't really know a huge amount, so certainly not anything which is going to affect Necrons. I suppose we need to talk about the new miniatures. So yeah, new Terminators. Right, that's then talked about. So yeah, obviously the new Terminators. They look like the old ones, just physically bigger. So just upscaling them. And then the new Gants, which are a little bit more detailed. I mean, I have to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of the new Taus. I liked the old Gants, where they all had their Taus are like really straight at the back, and when you had them on the table, you could just imagine this like horde just running forward. It really gives the impression they're running. Well, I'm not a huge fan of these new Taus. They look more like dinosaurs than they do Tyranids, I think, anyway. Haha, made me laugh on that one. Have a king to build here in the pile too. Yeah, the king is a fun model. It is a fun model. As I said, just watch out for those two little Triarch guys on the sides because they are not normal. They are not normal. So yeah, obviously we're going to get a load of more Tyranid models, which is cool. Obviously, if you don't know, I do have a Tyranid army already, and a reasonably sized one. They are all old miniatures. Well, all of them. Most of them are old miniatures. I've got a few new ones. So Richard has asked me whether we want to go halves basically on buy a couple of sets. So I'd have the Tyranid side twice. You'd have the Space Marine side twice. I'm undecided at the moment. I think it depends what's in that box. I don't need more Gants. Yeah, okay, they're new models. I've got loads. I've got a load of Gants, load of Gaunts, I've got a load of Gene Stealers. Obviously there's going to be new miniatures in there. Probably either the Shrike or a Flying Tyranid Prime or whatever that new miniature is going to be. Seems like there's going to be a new Psychic unit, which I probably will like to have. I'm hoping it might be Doom of Melanti. That would be cool. So I'm undecided whether I should get it, and obviously if I do get it, I don't want it to take focus away obviously on my Necrons as well. So if I'm having to build and paint a load of new Tyranids, I'm not going to be doing my Necrons. And then it's like, well, do I make videos on Tyranids? Do I do what Planet 40k's done and open a Tyranid channel? I did think about that at one point because I had so many armies. I was going to be Necrons and more, Eldar and more, Tyranids and more, Space Wolves and more, and have like 6 channels. It's like, yeah, no, that's ridiculous. It's hard enough doing one channel. So I did double down on Necrons, and now it's very hard for me to come out of that. Much love from Tasmania. Hello, Tasmania. Hello, Anthony. Thanks for your content, starting my Necrons in a while, and black for the Tassie Devil. Good night and happy birthday. Good night, and thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. So yes, it's a tough one, isn't it? I know how good value for money those starter sets are, so it would make sense probably to buy it. The other factor is storage space, because I have very limited storage space and there's still quite a few Necron miniatures that I want to get. So yeah, it's a tough one. It is a tough one. What do you reckon? Would you like to watch Tyranid videos from me? I doubt it. So I think most people here are here for Necrons. Like I am. I am as well. Necrons. Got to go back to work now. Nice to have a cheeky live stream in the day. Thank you, mate. Yeah, speak to you soon. So obviously now 10th is out. I can confirm that my Dominion War tournament in August will be 10th edition, because I mean, it's a summer release, but let's face it, we know it's going to be June or July. So by the time August comes around, we're going to have 10th. Now there is a possibility we might have to do smaller games this time round if we've got not too many people, but lots of people. So we might be looking at 500-point games. Now obviously GW have announced about their new combat patrol thing that they're going to do. So from my understanding, oh, these are terrible to scrape down. From my understanding, basically they're going to have combat patrol is basically just going to be the combat patrol boxes. So it's going to be totally focused around those boxes. So you buy your box, you build it, you paint it, you play it, and that's it. So it's like a fixed game. Now I think that's a fantastic idea. It's what Richard and I actually did. We played a combat patrol battle. I've got it on the channel, battle reports. And the idea is that they're going to try to balance all these box sets as much as possible, which they will need to do, because no one wants to play Combat Patrol and have a box which is like totally bad on the table. So they've got to balance the game, the different armies. I mean, as much as they can anyway. Will they? I don't know. I don't know how balanced they'll make that. I think ultimately their idea is, let's try to get people into this game as easily as we can, and the best way is Combat Patrol. You buy your box, here's the rules for the game, go ahead, play it. Now, I was thinking, it might be quite cool if at my tournament we just play Combat Patrol and use these boxes, and then it's going to be quite even on the table. It's going to be simple, easy for everyone. However, I'm also thinking that this Combat Patrol thing probably isn't going to work well scaled up into any form of event, because all the armies which are the same faction are going to be exactly the same. So for example, at my tournament last year we had 3 Necron players. They'd all be playing the same army. My very first tournament, I think we had 5 Orc players. So you'd have like 5 armies all exactly the same. So that is really putting me off of that idea. So I don't think I'm going to do that. Nick, how are you? Have you played boarding actions yet? Hello, Charlie Tango. I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, very well. But no, I haven't played boarding actions, and the truth is I probably don't intend to, especially now with 10th coming. I'm just going to solely concentrate on 10th. That may mean that units featured in the Combat Patrol boxes will be watered down in terms of power. It might be, unless they've got just special Combat Patrol data cards, maybe like in the box you get the data cards for them, but then when you play them properly you get the proper rules. I think they did that, didn't they, in what was it called? First Strike? The First Strike box set, was it called? The starter set. And I think they had like dumbed down rules. It's going to be interesting. Combat Patrol's changed so many times over the years. I always remember it must have been the 3rd edition rule book. Might have been the 4th edition, but I think it was the 3rd edition one. And they had a Necrons Combat Patrol in there, and they were painted red. I always remember that. I mean, I don't really use it these days for inspiration, but when I started, I have to say that the artwork and the books and all those books were very inspirational to help me with my armies. Always looking at them and referring to them. I don't do that so much now, just because I suppose it's just my experience. If I'm working on a project, and it's a new project, like one I haven't done before, I might refer to the artwork and the lore and stuff. But not so much if it's something which I've obviously like Necrons. I don't really do that. But when you're first starting up, those things are invaluable. I think that these campaign books should be released at the start of the edition instead of at the end, when they're out of date within a few months. Yeah, well, it's just GW making as much money as they can, isn't it, ultimately? But you're right. And it's, we knew it was coming. I mean, we've seen it before, haven't we? We saw it in the last edition, Gathering of the Storm and stuff. Right, that is one gun done. How long did that take me? I don't know, because I didn't time it. I'll time the next one. I reckon it must have taken me 10 minutes. So we are, what time is it? Let's have a look. 12:30. Okay, 12:30. So that's an hour already. I can't believe it. I'm streaming for an hour. Now eventually I'm going to have to cut these pieces off the top of these so that I can magnetise them. But I'll do that later. I am potentially thinking I might change the magnets from what I did first, because if I can get away with it, I might try to use the 2x1mm N52s instead of the little flat ones which I used. I didn't really have any 2mm magnets back then, so I'm thinking I might try and change that, but I'll see how it goes. I'm just going to get all the mould lines scraped off, and then I'm going to think about the magnetising. Right, let's time this. So it is 12:32. Right, here we go then. Go, 12:32, remember that. I'm guessing 10 minutes. I might speed up slightly the more I do, which usually happens. Does anyone actually enjoy scraping mould lines off? Yeah, so Richard is playing Spaceballs tomorrow, so that will be fun. He's got, just trying to think what he's got in there now. I think he's got Niall the Stormcaller in there. Not 100%. But we're going to play my absolute favourite mission, the mission I've had the most fun with over the years. We're going to adapt it slightly, or I'm going to adapt it slightly, because like a lot of the older missions, it can be one-sided, but that's fine. That's fine. Back again. Hello. How you doing? So yeah, we're going to play the rescue mission. And the way this one works is you have 6 markers. And I've actually painted my markers just like in the 4th edition codex showed you. So like little auspex, like radar blips. And underneath the markers is a number, obviously 1 to 6. What you do is you randomise the markers, you shuffle them up basically so you don't know which number is which. And then you take turns placing them on the table, 12 inches apart and no more than 6 inches from the table edge. And then at the start of the game you roll a dice, and whatever number you get, that's the marker that you need to find. So when a infantry or a bike unit goes on to the marker gets turned over. So in the movement phase you can choose if you wish to move on to a marker, and when you do you turn it over, and if the marker isn't the number on the dice, then it's just basically disregarded. And then of course once you find the actual marker, the number, then all the other markers disappear, and that's it for the game. You are playing for that one objective. And then obviously what happens is if you pick it up early, you maybe take the risk and you pick it up early, then you have to try to hold it. It changes the dynamic of the game. Your opponent then has to attack you. Whereas the other way to play it is to not pick it up early, to hold off and hope that your objective on your side of the table is the one that you're looking for, and try to pick it up late in the game. So it depends how people like to play this game. Some people like to just go straight out and try to find the objective. But it is so much fun, and we often played this game in multiple players as well. So rather than just 2 people, you know, if we had 3 people or 4 people, we would play this game because it was just a lot of fun. Especially if you were playing like 3 or 4 people and somebody picked up that objective early, because it meant that you had, like, if there was 4 of you, it would be 3 people on one. Now usually the game ended with no one winning, because what usually happened is in the last turn you'd just shoot the guy that's holding the objective, he drops it, and then no one's holding the objective and it's a draw. Very often it would be like that. But what we're going to do is we're going to have some secondaries as well, just to make it more interesting. So I was thinking, so tell me what you think about this. I was thinking that the rescue objective will be worth 10 points, and then we'll have the core rulebook secondaries, which I've played them with my Blood Angel buddy a few times recently, and they work quite well. So just for reference, that's basically grind them down, assassination, and behind enemy lines. So I think it's like 3 points basically a turn that you can get for each one. So it would mean that, for example, if someone did pick up the objective early, like turn 1, they move out, pick an objective, and it's the one, you know, and then they manage to secure it the whole of the game. It means that the other person can potentially still win by secondaries, you know, if they do these secondaries well. So I thought it might just make it not quite as one-sided. Now for reference, when you pick up the objective, you can't move more than 6 inches. So if you pick up with bikes that move 14 inches and you've got the objective, then if those bikes move more than 6 inches, they drop the objective. Which obviously, very similar rule. It's very similar to the relic, I suppose, which we had in like 7th edition, wasn't it, the relic? But yeah, it's a fun mission, it always is, especially if you play with more than 2 people, it's even more fun. But I think Richard will enjoy it. It will be an experience for Richard, because obviously he's generally only playing like competitive, high competitive play, so yeah, I'm hoping that he'll enjoy it. I've set the table up in that thematic way which I was talking about earlier. Just going to play, basically, if you can see it you can shoot it, if there's terrain in the way you get a cover save, and we are going to play obviously 9th edition rules, so yeah, that'd be a bit of fun. And that's what you need sometimes, and a birthday is a golden opportunity to do something like that. Right, I finished. It was 32, right? It's now 39, so 7 minutes. Not too bad, not too bad. I've done 2. I have 18 to go. Seems quite windy today. I can hear the wind whistling through the doors there. So 1 more week of school, and then 2 weeks off for the Easter break, which is great because it means no school run. Just gives me extra time in the morning and obviously after work as well. So, and on my days off, not having to do the school run. And the school run is basically an hour round trip, so it's half an hour there, half an hour back. So it takes quite a lot of time up. On my day off, for example, I've got to do that twice. So that's like 2 hours out of my time. So yeah, she's in year 10 though, so only another year left after this year. And then hopefully college will be a bit easier. So what do you reckon? 10 points for the main objective? I think that's the right amount, or do you think it's too much? Maybe 5 points. But I want it to be focused on that main objective, really, just like it used to be. I think the secondaries are just there just to give you a bit of a chance, you know, as well. So are you looking forward to my 3rd edition videos? I know it's a bit different, but I've got a mixture of followers. Obviously I've got a lot of people that started in 3rd or even before me, you know, some like old school players. Got a lot of people who are new as well, who probably don't really know too much about 3rd edition. So I thought it would be interesting, either to either reminisce, or B, to, you know, look back on a past that you never knew. Now today's it'll be interesting today with what this live stream does for my channel. My live stream on Wednesday, I lost 10 subscribers from it wasn't from the live stream itself, because I'd look at the analytics and it said that no one unsubscribed from the stream, but yeah, like over a short period of a few hours I lost like 10 subs for whatever reason. It happens, YouTube's like that. Usually you gain a few each day, and then you lose some, and you have a big spike and you gain a load, and then you lose some more. So I'm not sort of worried by it, but it's quite interesting. So every time I go live, we seem to lose a few subs. Maybe it's because people get notifications as well that you're live, so it reminds them, oh yeah, I don't really watch like his videos anymore, so then they unsubscribe. Necrons got their first own codex in 3rd, so quite the starting point, and then the plastic revamp in 2011. Yes, yeah, that's right, because in Rogue Trader they didn't actually have like a codex, did they? They were just Necron Raiders, weren't they? Yeah, 2011, that was the 5th edition one, wasn't it? That's when we got like the Annihilation barges and stuff. So many mold lines. I keep forgetting where I've done. So going out tomorrow night as well for my birthday celebration. So gaming in the day, and then going out for an evening meal with the family. So That would be fun. And then Sunday, annual stock take at work. That won't be fun. That won't be fun. But once it's out of the way, then it's done then. It is really windy outside. Right, I've nearly done this one. And now the battle damage on sprues that I have to fill and fix. Now, funny enough, you should say that, because yeah, I've not been a fan of the battle damage until I painted my Locust heavy destroyers. That battle damage actually really works well when you're dry brushing. Gives it just more detail and depth, and just looks pretty cool. So I've sort of changed my mind about the battle damage. I don't paint it as battle damage, I just ignore it, pretend it's not there, and I just dry brush it. Must be quite stressing to be a YouTuber. I could never do it. I have been following you since the work buddy got me hooked at the end of 8th. Yeah, it's enjoyable, but you have to be committed, you know. You have to always be committed, especially if you want to be consistent with uploads. Also, what do you think about the failed Warhammer Apocalypse reboot from around 2018-19? That was a shocking failure. You cannot buy it anymore. I was never into Apocalypse, never played it at all. Yeah, just too much time. Plus, getting my whole army out and putting it away again. I didn't really fancy that. They sold me their Necron halves of the Indomitus box, and now I'm a complete addict. Only the Seraptic missing. Wow. The Seraptic is an awesome miniature. I keep the battle damage only on destroyer units and converted flayed ones. Warriors and vehicles got fixed. Fits better with older models. Yeah, I suppose where mine is just such a basic paint scheme, it doesn't really show. You can't really see the battle damage. I think I'm a bit more relaxed now as well to what I used to be. I think that the green rod thing is what did it. When they got rid of green rods, I absolutely hated it. My mission to every single unit model that's supposed to have a green rod and hasn't, I'm going to change it. And now I'm just more mellow, so it's like, oh well, whatever. You know, if I'm doing a kit bash or a conversion, I've got an opportunity to put a green rod in, then I will. But I'm not quite so fanatic about it. I think you learn to accept it, I suppose. Change always happens, especially with Games Workshop. I remember my very, very old buddy who never got into the hobby, but used to do it when he was a kid. And then when I first got into it, I remember him saying, he goes, oh yeah, that hobby, he goes, oh, it changes so much. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, he knew, and I didn't know at the time. So, oh, what do you mean it changes? Oh yeah, they always change it, change the rules and everything. So, oh, well, it'll be alright. And I didn't really have an experience of changing the rules too much, because the codex that I played, that 3rd edition codex, was valid for 10 years. I played that for 10 years, so it was a bit of a shock when eventually we got that new codex with all the new toys, the new fluff, I mean, what a change that was. Not only did we have new models and new rules, we had new fluff. I did one unit of destroyers with the old rods, another with the new, easier to keep them apart. Yeah, that's good. Obviously I've got the raiders, and then I've got the new destroyers, and then eventually I'll have the new models when they eventually come out. So I can play 3 different generations of destroyers. That'll be my plan when I play them. Same with the Locust heavy destroyers as well. I've got the new ones now. I've got the original and I've got my converted ones from Necron Raiders. So again, if I play 3 units of heavy destroyers, I can physically have 3 different looking units. Much easier to keep track of. So I've got pasta tonight. I've had pasta the last 2 nights because I made this pasta thing, and I put too much pasta in. I think basically ended up with loads and loads of pasta. So I've been eating pasta for 2 nights, and there's still some left to eat tonight, and then that'll be it. That'll be gone then. Watched Dragon's Den and the final of The Apprentice last night. Enjoyed those, they were fun. Oh, and then I watched Picard last night as well. Episode 6. Very nostalgic episode that was. People would get confused. What with the different units? Another one done. That's 4. Right, one more and I'll be a quarter of the way there. Always try to motivate myself. Right. Reconnected. Right, I don't know if I'm still live because I had a OBS disconnected. Am I still on? Can you still hear me? Is everything okay? Because I just had a notification that OBS disconnected. Yes. Okay, good. Was there a pause or something? Never had that before. Everything's fine. Okay, that's good. Forever 50, yeah, I'm going to stay 50 forever, I think. Well, at least for the next 5 years. Didn't even pause or anything. That's weird, yeah? It's probably because I think there's a delay. So my streaming software is obviously running. Then YouTube is probably like not synced exactly the same. There's probably a difference. So this goes off. It didn't affect the stream until like later, probably. Thanks for popping in. I'm going to try and get my other video light out, the car, because I've got this new one as I said, but I've got my old one as well. So I think I'm going to get that out of the car, where I'm storing it, because I have no storage space elsewhere, and have it set up for tomorrow's game. So I've got a light at either side just to make it as good quality as I can. So with 10th coming, is anyone going to start a new army for 10th? In particular, I suppose, Tyranids and Space Marines. Who's going to be starting a new army? No one by the looks of it. Don't do it. So I need to work out if there's any particular things I want to play in 9th edition before it disappears. It's too hard getting time for a new army, I think. I'll stick with trying to finish the Necrons, Necromunda. Yeah, it's fair play, yeah, I agree. I mean, time is so precious, isn't it? So yeah, I need to work out if there's anything I want to play. I've played most things that I've wanted to play. I've had some fun with 9th. I know Richard's had some fun with 9th. He's had fun beating me every week. Okay. Another one done. Yay. There we go. Quarter of the way there. Now I only have 5 more to do and I'm halfway there. So let's take 5 out. Those 5 to do next. Forget about those. Just 5 more. That's it. And we're halfway there. It flies by as you get older. It certainly does. It certainly does. I remember when I was a kid, from one Christmas to the next Christmas. Used to be forever. Used to be forever. Now it's like, choo, gone. Another year over. Choo, gone. Another year over. Well, they say time flies when you have fun, so... Terminators, Flamers. Well, the new one Necrons. They had flamers in that trailer, didn't they? Or at least someone did. Flamers aren't really a thing, are they, so much? I mean, even when somebody says, oh, I'm going to shoot you with the flamer, and then they rush right, it's obviously auto hit and all the rest of it. But you knew when a flamer was a flamer when somebody put down that template, you know, the flamer templates. Then you knew you were being shot by a flamer. I can understand why they got rid of templates, but they were fun, weren't they? I enjoyed templates. I once baked a cake for my girlfriend who said 25G. She didn't like it. Yeah, so I booked the day off work for my birthday because my fiance was going to be here, but she's currently away at the moment, so it's just me and Necron Girl. So I thought, yeah, why not play a game, you know? It's always fun playing a game on your birthday. Have you played boarding actions with Necrons? I haven't played boarding actions full stop. I haven't played Kill Team. Just stick to 40k. If I want to play a smaller game, then I just play a smaller game of 40k. I have played Attack Wing, the Star Trek, not Attack Wing, the Star Trek version. Yeah, X-Wing, isn't it, for Star Wars, Attack Wing, Star Trek. And so I played that, and my buddy has Man of War, the boats game, so we play that. I have played Wings of Glory, but not for a long time. And Blood Bowl, occasionally, but I'm not a huge fan of Blood Bowl, but if my buddy wants to play it, we do play sometimes. Necrons will be the main focus. What, of boarding actions? The Kill Team Necron terrain did look cool, but I don't really need more terrain. Thing is, I've been had before by GW. You know, things like, well, the first thing was the Ioterra Codex, my Space Wolves 13th Company Army being made defunct. Yeah, that was left a bitter taste in my mouth. And then Cities of Death as well. I did the Cities of Death. You know, I spent a whole year building my Cities of Death terrain and painting it. Made it look absolutely epic. And that sort of went by the wayside as well, by GW. So I'm very skeptical when it comes to like these kill teams and, you know, all the rest of it. Was it Dread Fleet as well? Yeah, I don't know. I suppose it's just not for me. I just stick to what I know, I think, and that's it. Do you think Necrons need to have 18 Scorpex in every list? No, I don't think so. I mean, Scorpex are good. What Scorpex do, though, is they do take your points away for shooting, because obviously you have no guns. Against certain armies, they're going to be absolutely epic. Against other armies, they're not actually that amazing. I mean, they're not actually that amazing against orcs. They're okay if you're up against infantry. But when you've got a vehicle heavy list, they can be hard work. And then you've got to support them with a chronomancer. So if you've got, let's say, 3 units, only a couple of chronomancers, or 2 units and only 1 chronomancer, it can be quite hard. So I do like the Scorpex, and I think if I was playing maybe more power armor armies, they'd be more useful than I find them. And Richard, those orcs, not Richard. Richard's orcs have so much like damage, which is either flat 3 or at very least D3. But he has a lot of flat 3 damage. And then if there is D3, he always rolls a 5 or a 6 anyway. So if it's a D3, it's usually 3 damage. So I always find just go down very quickly with 3 wounds. And then RP, just useless on 3 wounded models. I had one good RP roll in a recent game. I can't remember if it's today's battle report that's coming up at 2:30. Slight plug. Or the next one. But yeah, my Scorpex, I think Richard killed 5 of them. And I just had 1 left. And I rolled RP. And I got 3 back. I think that's probably the best RP roll I've ever done on it in 9th edition. So yeah, the next battle report, which is out today, is on my table. And then we've got another one using, again, another tweets list of the Jack of all trades list coming up as well. That will come up later because first, next week is the 3rd edition videos. Well, I say 3rd edition videos, basically me using the 3rd edition codex themed. I have to admit my Necron collection is shameful. I only currently have 27 scarabs painted. I'm super slow with the hobby, but they are the reason I'm getting into Necrons. I love the swarm and the lore of it. Well, that's fair play. Everyone does the hobby at different speeds, have different times, and you know, sometimes it's nice to take your time and be slow because you know you're enjoying it. That's the main thing. I've always been quite, I wouldn't say I'm fast, but I'm motivated. I've always been very motivated to do hobby. I mean, even when I first started playing, I got my board and my terrain together very quickly. It's like I remember we played 1 week, I had a piece of terrain idea and I was telling my buddies about it, and when they came the next week I had it built and painted, and then I remember them saying like, wow, you did that in a week. So yeah, I've always been motivated to do stuff. Alright, another one down. 3 left and I'm halfway there. Is there anything you would recommend next to go with them? So what with the scarabs? Well, scarabs are... It depends. If you want units to work with the scarabs, then you'd say probably like spiders at the moment. So, I mean, we don't know what the new rules are going to be. But the scarabs and spiders do work together quite well. But to be fair, scarabs are okay on their own. They're one of those units which can work independently. And the great thing about them is they have multiple roles. You know, you can use them in so many different ways. Small units on objectives. You know, you can use them just to block areas of the board, so that deep strikers can't come in so easily. And then you can use medium-sized units to sort of go out and grab objectives, or to bubble wrap another unit. And the same, you know, with big-sized units as well. You know, you can go full throttle, big-sized unit, and make your opponent deal with them. So they are very useful, and they do work by themselves very well. Now, if you've got scarabs, I'm assuming you've got warriors, right? How did you get your 27 scarabs? Oh, you've only got them painted, right? Yeah, so you've got your warriors, I'm assuming, as well. It's so hard to say, recommend what to paint next or to build next, because we just don't know what the rules are going to be. So it's interesting what they were saying about the toughness of some vehicles are going to be going up, so like maybe up to toughness 12. Now does that mean they're going to get less wounds? I bet that is spam, because no one ever phones us on the landline. Hello, Nick speaking. No, she's not at home, I'm afraid, at the moment. Okay. Yes, it might be best to call her in a couple of weeks though, because she's currently away. Any day, yeah, but a couple of weeks' time. Okay, thanks and bye. It was a genuine call. A genuine call. Quite unusual. Usually if the landline goes, it's just like spam. You've been in an accident. Have I? Not sure about the timing down of lethality. War is supposed to be lethal. Yeah, that's my phone. When I answer the phone, Nick speaking. Just like in the... I have been known to accidentally say, Nick speaking, welcome to this video. Oh, no. When I'm on the phone. Believe it or not, I did that once. I did it at work. That Nick speaking actually comes from my dad. My dad used to love hi-fi. You know, like, he used to be into his music, loved music. And when he was young, he used to have like open reel tapes. And he used to be the singer in a band and stuff. So anyway, we went to this like car boot sale. You know, I was a teenager, I think, and somebody had this open reel tape recorder. So he bought this open reel tape recorder, and we used to have some fun on there. you used to be able to record tracks over the top of it. So like you recorded one track and then you could record another track over the top, which I don't think you could do with cassette tapes, if I remember rightly. Anyway, whenever he did like a recording, like testing it, he used to always say, "Tony speaking," because his name was Anthony. So yeah, Tony speaking. So when I first started to do my channel and stuff, I used to say Nick speaking. So it comes from my dad, basically, that. I did actually forget to say it though in a battle report I've got coming up, not this one, the next one. I actually forgot to say Nick speaking, welcome to this battle report, just went straight in. It feels really weird having a video without Nick speaking in it. What are we doing here? Nearly 20 past 1. I need to do all the front pieces as well. All these weapons have a little piece that go on the front, so I've still got those to do as well. That's okay, there's no rush, just do it as and when get time. I was always going to do some of this today, so I thought as the last stream's a lot of fun, I'd do it again, because I don't normally have an opportunity to do things like this during the day, because usually my fiance is working from home, so I don't get an opportunity to do it. So I thought, well, whilst I've got the opportunity, then I would have a go. Right, is that one done? Am I going quicker? It's going to be quite unusual times now. Whilst obviously 10th is coming, we're going to be a little bit in limbo land. I had a few like tactical videos that I wanted to make, which now will definitely have to go on the back burner. I've been doing more hobby and list building and battle report videos recently, just because, well, tactics have all been done, haven't they now? And we know things are changing soon. So usually my videos are whatever I'm doing with the hobby. You know, whatever I'm painting or whatever I'm playing or building, you know, I try to make videos on that. And then obviously if there's new stuff coming, then obviously I'll make videos on that. Ultimately, I'm just a hobbyist, just like you guys, you know, just somebody, a normal person who enjoys the hobby, does it in his spare time, just sharing what I do, really. Hey, welcome Coots. I appreciate that, thank you. If I can remember the button, I think it's
Necrons!
Thank you for becoming an IDICBeer member.
Yes. Thank you very much, appreciate that. We have a new member. I always think about how this hobby has changed my life. You know, what would my life be like without it if I hadn't found it? Because I did find the hobby late in life. I was 30, which is late. I mean, most people find it when they're younger. It's been a great journey. You know, I've had so much fun, and I've got things to that I've collected obviously over the years. Some hobbies, like let's just say like my snooker, for example. You know, because I play snooker. Yeah, play that once a week, enjoy it, have fun. I've got nothing. No, unless I win a competition, I get a trophy. Then I've got nothing apart from memories. Whereas with this hobby, I've got obviously all my models, all my terrain. So I've got like you get more from it. I think from that point of view. But it's obviously a hobby which keeps you at home potentially a lot more as well than some other hobbies, which is good for family life because even though like your other half might moan, you know, you're spending too much time doing that, at least you are home. You're not out like down the pub with your mates or you know, do you know what I mean? So I think it has good attributes for that. Obviously, you still go out and play games and things, but yeah, I think I would probably be playing snooker more if I hadn't found this hobby because I used to play snooker more until I found it. I used to play like 3-4 times a week. Now I only play once a week. I enjoy the snooker, but definitely the hobby. And I class my YouTube channel as the hobby. Necrons! Hello, Thomas. Yeah, I do class the YouTube channel as part of the hobby. You know, the 40k hobby. I don't class it as a separate entity. And you need to do that, I think, because obviously I spend a lot of time on the YouTube channel. Time that potentially, if I didn't have the channel, I would be using to build miniatures and paint miniatures. So when I look at how much work I've done during the year, it's like, well, I've done all that, but then again, I've spent X amount of hours making video. You know, I am quicker at making videos now than I used to be, depending on the format, but it takes time. I would say the average amount of time, that I spend on a video, including the thumbnail and the metadata, like the title and tags and everything, I would say the average amount of time is 6 hours, roughly, you know, with the editing and stuff. Now some of those videos are 3-4 hours, some of them can be 10, 12, 14 hours. But I say the average amount of time is 6 hours for a video. Right, one more and I'm halfway there. It sounds much better than saying still got 10 to go. Right, here we go, get this one done. Hope you're well, love what you do. Thank you, Thomas. I am very well, thank you. Yeah, really, really good. Unlike Necron girl who keeps getting ill. She's had 3 colds in like 2 months. It's just amazing. I think it's because she had COVID. She had COVID twice. I never had COVID. I managed to avoid it, but I think her immune system must be just down. She just keeps getting ill all the time. Just colds, you know. Yeah, she wants to be a sociologist. When she finishes school and everything. That's her plan. Great to finally be able to catch a live stream. Home from work today. Where is the love? Hello, Great Army Painting. How you doing, Matthew? You alright? I need to watch your recent video as well. I saw it in my stream earlier. Is it cold there? Because you seem to be wearing a hat quite a lot, I've noticed. Is that just a new thing, new look? Or is it just cold? Where is the love, the love? Oh yeah, I remember that. I hope she feels better soon. Looking forward to seeing some sexy new Necron data sheets. Yeah, it's going to be fun. It is going to be fun. Hopefully not too much of a copy and paste, although I'm sure the majority of it will be. We'll see. We'll see. They must have been working on this edition for years. Still pretty chilly in Sweden. Oh, rockstar, Nick. Well, I wouldn't go that far, but so for those who don't know, in one of my Aldar videos, I did a little song at the beginning, just a little like, "Where is the love, the love?" And then Matthew from Grey Army Painting there, Grey Army Gaming, sorry, did an awesome song with me featuring singing in this song. It's fantastic. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. Check out his channel. Grey Army Gaming, that's the one. So we are currently scraping all of the mould lines off these Gauss flayers for my Ghost Arks stroke Doomsday Arks. I'm guessing hungry. It will pass though, it will pass. Wondering how dynasty abilities will now work, that they're taking objective secure out and using OC characteristics on all the models. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think it might be dumbed down quite a bit, the dynasties. I've got a funny feeling. I also think that when we eventually get our new codex, that we might lose some of our special characters. Got a funny feeling. I'm going to have to hoover up underneath this desk before my fiance comes home, because it's going to have loads and loads of little bits of plastic. I can't get that song out of my head now. Can't get it out of my head. Right. Done. Halfway there. Whew. Now I need a stretch. Getting old. Getting old. Sorry, Nick, that one is a bit of an earworm. Oh. Achy. Right. I don't think I can think of too much more to say, to be fair. So I'm wondering if I should end the stream now. What do you reckon, guys? Are you happy for me to stay on and scrape down these 10 flayers with not too much to say, unless you can pose loads of questions? Or shall I stop the stream? What do you reckon? God, look at my finger. Got loads of little cuts on it. Not like big cuts as in like blood, but just like little skin things. I need to run about 10 minutes to pick up my kids, but I am on until then. Okay then, let's do that then. Let's do another 10 minutes. There you go. As I said, it's sometimes you feel like you just have to be talking all the time, but you don't, because even like normal life isn't like that, is it? I mean, even if you're having a conversation with someone, you know, you always have little breaks. Live twice in a week, awesome. Yes, it's a bit of a rarity. It's mainly because I've got the place to myself at the moment. I better watch that soon. I'm assuming you're talking about the song. Yep, go and watch it. Come on then, get these done. I've been seriously thinking about getting some new dice, because my dice rolling's been so bad. I don't know why, because I used to roll really well. I just wonder if maybe the dice guards are punishing me or something for like so many years of rolling well. Since lockdown's finished, I've got back gaming. Since lockdown, my rolling has been terrible. I even got my old dice out so that I used to play in the old days recently, and they didn't roll much better. I think I'm just doomed to my dice rolls for some reason. So I am considering just buying some new dice. I'm going to wait until the new financial year so I can put it onto my channel expenses, because at the moment I don't need expenses on my channel, because I'm making a good enough loss that I don't have to worry about it paying tax. So yeah, I'm going to put the dice onto the new financial year, buy some more dice I think. I assume you've given your views on 10th edition already. I'm really excited for it. I have indeed. Yeah, we've had a bit of a chat about 10th edition. It looks like it's going to be fun. Morning, Nick. Good morning. I've been listening for a while, but I've not said much. Doing laundry. Really enjoying having you and your voice at my TV. I'm good with you going on as long as you want. Thank you, Wade. Yeah, I appreciate. Obviously, even myself when I'm watching live streams, I don't really comment that much because you're busy doing your own thing, aren't you? It's just nice having it on in the background, almost like a radio. I got myself custom made with Skeletor in the sixes, cool, to fit with my army. It's great. Only £1 a dice too, so cheaper than Games Workshop awful Necron dice. Oh, that's cool. Where did you get them made? Yeah, I just don't know what dice to go for. I like the marble effect ones in terms of like how they look, but they're not very easy to read, so I tend to avoid them. I know Richard's got some casino dice. I think they're casino rejects, aren't they, Rich? Say orcs make Nick happy. No, they don't. I used to like orcs, before yeah. I used to like orcs. I really enjoyed playing against them. They were always fun to play against. Now they're just horrible. I hate them. No, my luck's got to change again at some point. Luck always evens itself out in the end. I know that from playing snooker. You might have some unlucky, might have an unlucky frame, unlucky session, just an unlucky period of like a few months. But eventually it will turn itself around and even itself out. And one day I know I'm going to absolutely boss my rolls in a game. One day. Amazingly, Richard had a couple of bad dice rolls himself recently, failing 2 charges. Quite unusual. That's a re-roll as well, with a re-roll. Nick loves orcs. I used to. my Blood Angels buddy, he has an orc army as well, and they were fun to play against. Although they've always been pretty tough to play against, especially in the edition where you could do wound allocation. And you used to play Thraka, and Thraka used to give everyone a 2+ invulnerable save, and then he used to go with the knobs, and then the knobs used to allocate the wounds, so they basically survived. So you'd have a squad of like 5 knobs and you do 5 wounds, and there'd still be 5 knobs left because you'd put 1 wound on each knob. Yeah, they were nasty then, but once they got rid of that wound allocation, orcs became a bit easier to deal with. And then at the beginning of 9th, before they got their new codex, I would say that orcs and Necrons were fairly evenly paced. I think probably Necrons had the edge slightly, but yeah, since that new codex has come out, it's like, yeah, no chance. No, there is a chance, but it's a tough one, especially someone who picks the bones out of the codex to make competitive lists. I think luck is more often a mindset. I think my rolls are better when I'm having more fun. With my gaming group, I have a rep for swinging dice rolls more to the bad than the good. I think you're definitely right with the mindset. We all have that one thing that happens. For example, in the old days, you used to generate a scarab with a spider, and then you rolled a dice, and on a 1 you took a wound. I always rolled a 1. Coots, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That's very nice of you. I think I've got a button for that. I don't know which one it is though.
Super chat.
Try that one.
Thanks for donating.
I can't remember what I was saying now. What was I saying? I was saying... I can't remember. Something about orcs. Oh no, dice rolls. Here we go, yes. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, I used to always roll a 1. And then you end up thinking about it, don't you? It's like, in your head you're rolling your dice and say, don't roll a 1, don't roll a 1. And you rolled it and it's a 1. Yeah. Sometimes positive thinking is the way to go. I mean, how many times have you also done it to your opponent? It's like they say, I need anything but a 1. And then it comes up. You say, double 1. And then it comes up a double 1. And then you feel really bad because you said double 1 and that's what they got. I was thinking to myself, I nearly finished these guns, and I just had a quick look at the pile there, and it's like, no, you haven't, Nick. If you had the chance to change the way Necrons play outside the rules, what would you want? I think I'd like them to be more of a shooty army than an assault army. You know, some assaults, but mainly shooty. And literally just going back to how they were a bit more, I think, where our small guns had the ability to hurt vehicles, so you didn't have to play big guns on the table like you do now. And I'd like them to be more durable again, like they used to be, where, you know, RP was actually really good, and anyone who like faced the Necrons, you know, it's like Necrons, they're hard to kill. They're not hard to kill these days. They're easy to kill. Right, let's count how many I've got left. Right, just these 3, and I'm 3/4 of the way there. Maybe I should just live stream until I finish them. Get them done and dusted. I'm averaging about 6-7 minutes a gun, so shouldn't be too long. More volume of shots or heavier damage? Ooh, I think heavier damage probably. GW tried to introduce the volume of shot thing with the Tesla guns, I felt we never really needed Tesla in the army. Before that, apart from a couple of particle weapons and Staff of Light, we only ever had Gauss weapons. And then they brought Tesla in. And Tesla, I mean, did well for a while when, Tesla was the weapon of choice at one point. You give them My Will Be Done. You had exploding sixes, and then obviously with the My Will Be Done, you used to be able to augment them. But then they obviously stopped all that. But yeah, at one point, like a 5 used to explode as well as a 6. So, it was the way to go. But I don't necessarily think it's the Necron way. I don't know, I just feel sometimes that GW just don't know what to do with Necrons. And it must be really hard. I mean, to have all of the factions with all of the different rules and stuff must be really hard. And that's why sometimes I'm surprised at how many new units they bring out, because it makes their job even harder. But obviously they're there to sell miniatures, so that's why they bring out all the new minis. So I'm hoping to do another collaboration with Planet 40k soon, so that should be fun. And obviously Planet 40k came to my tournament last year. Hopefully he's going to come to this one too, so this year's one. So yeah, a really nice guy. Change them back to what they should be, Legion. Yeah. I'd like our Doomsday Cannon to be a bit more Doomish instead of bad Tuesday morning cannon. I'm going to use that. I'm going to use that the next time I play them. Right, bad Tuesday morning shots. Oh no, it's just ridiculous, the swinginess. It'd be okay if like every army had that, but clearly they don't. So clearly GW know it's an issue, but they're just not prepared to fix it for whatever reason. Because they could easily fix that, couldn't they? Easily. They might surprise us in their new data slate, which is coming. So that's coming in April, I believe. I'd like to see him attack the Stormlord to get some be more playable. And I do like that character, and I played it so much in, well, whenever he first came out. Yeah, 7th edition. Yeah, I played him all the time in 7th edition because he was so much fun. I've not played him at all this edition, which is a shame. Don't think I have. Don't know, I may have played them a couple of times, but certainly not recently. More accurate like Stormtroopers and Star Wars. D3 plus 2 damage, we sort them right out and bring them up to par with others. I'd like them to be a bit more like the Tau Railgun though. Yeah, they easily could fix it. I actually consider model Necrons to be just like Star Wars Stormtroopers, weak armour and terrible shots. You could probably just paint them white and they'll be Stormtroopers. Do you think the Necrons will step up to handle some of the Tyranid madness coming with 10th? Probably not. To be fair, I think what happened in 9th edition says it all, really. So even when Necrons have a massive new model range, GW struggled with them, or was afraid to make them that great. I don't think Necrons will ever be a top tier army. Just don't think that's what they're for. That they're not GW's faction to be a top tier army, I don't think. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Interesting to see what the NIDs get. I mean, the NIDs might actually get what treatment we had. They might get a load of new models and have some cool new rules at the start, and then as the other factions start to come out, they suffer. You will suffer. Howdy guys, hello Jack of all trades, how you doing? I think that's the thing with Necrons, is they're actually a very good army in a basement gaming type environment, to the point they can be actually very powerful against some armies and some player abilities. I can imagine a lot of people hate Necrons, they hate playing Necrons, so they're so good. But obviously when you get to that top end play, I think that is where their weakness is shown. Mind you, I did win a tournament in 9th edition with my Necrons, my own tournament, but I did win it. $89-8 for the Necrons. That's called Jack and ouch, poor salamanders. Oh right, okay, I missed that bit. Just finished an amazing game against salamanders with a really fun Novok list. 89-8 for the Necrons. Awesome, well done. I hear you, potentially super interesting from a lore perspective, but Games Workshop does not seem to give them the love they deserve. My question is, how did they pose a threat to the Aldari, notwithstanding the Catan, make them a threat to the Aldari again, please? Yeah. Make them a threat to everyone. We all know that eventually, at some point, Necrons will rule the universe and the galaxy. It's inevitable. Exactly this, I would love to see the Necrons emerge as a very real threat and possibly wipe out the Eldar. Necrons are interesting from a lore perspective and do well in books, but as a faction, GW has its poster child faction and the others aren't that interesting to them. I think they do a job. They're an interesting enemy of the Marines. No, I mean it's a tough one, isn't it? Because ultimately it's just a game, and as long as you enjoy yourself, that's the main thing. And I have so much fun with Necrons, regardless of the rules, how good they are, the addition. You know, just I enjoy them, and that's what makes a long-lasting army. You know. Oh. Another one done. I don't think I'm going to finish all these. I'm going to need a break. Well, actually, my battle report is going to go up in half an hour, 2:30. Get a whole day of me, like, pretty much. What time do you reckon you'll be here tomorrow, Rich? Let's see if he's still there. Are you still here, Rich? I agree, it's just a game, but would you continue to play chess if one side was weaker than the other? It depends. If you used to if you swap sides, like with chess, you know, one day you're black and the next day you're white. But no, I understand what you mean. The game will never be balanced, though, no matter how much they try. The business model doesn't work on a balanced game ultimately, because you know what sales models are the rules, and you know, if it was a totally balanced game that they didn't need to change anymore, it just wouldn't work, would it, as a business model? But the point I was making really was that you need to be in love with your army to survive all the changes and additions and everything, to make, you know, for longevity for the game. Oh, and some people don't. They buy an army, the best army there is at the moment, and then play it, and then they ditch it, get another one. That's what they enjoy. But Yeah, I think most of us just like to, you know, build, paint, play, have fun. Factoring strength is one thing, but landing a massive reanimation roll and hearing your opponent exclaim something unpredictable is polite company. It can't be beaten. Is that an active glue bottle on your desk with the cap off? Well, this one, it's got a cap on it. Yeah, that's got a cap on it. What are you looking at? No, it's got a cap on it. Well, I think I finished this one. I can't remember. Yes. Come on then, keep going, keep going. Let's try and get these done before past, which is when the battle report goes up. All my opponents complain about reanimation protocol when I roll well. If I roll poorly, they don't mind. I wouldn't be complaining, it helps with my no prisoners score. Indeed, indeed. And killing things 2 or 3 times a game is ultimately fun for an orc player. Sorry, that's alright, I have to apologise. I would hate to have had my cap off my glue, so yeah, it's worth checking. Yeah, well, when Richard takes no prisoners, he pretty much guaranteed max points against me. Have I done this one, the mould lines? No, I haven't done it, but the mould lines are not very strong, let's put it that way. Doubting myself whether I've actually done it or not, but no, there are some mould lines. That's good, that's what we like. Not many mould lines. Now we've got the orc players enjoying themselves in the chat, talking about killing Necrons over and over again. What time do you reckon you're going to be here tomorrow, Rich? I'm lucky. The group I play with are simply playing because we enjoy the game. There's not much competitive to it all, unless we organise a tournament. Makes it a lot of a chilled out fun. Yeah, they're always the best. Right, that was a quick one because there wasn't many mould lines on that one. Trying to think of what to say, but I can't think of anything. Can't think of anything. Been raining quite a lot here, which for the end of March. Well, sometimes the end of March is really nice. Also, the clocks change here in the UK on Sunday, so they go forward an hour. So spring is truly here. Hopefully the weather will pick up a bit. Be nice to be wearing shorts again. You've inspired me to finish my month-old, half-finished Ghost Ark now. So many edges to highlight. Awesome, that's good. Yeah, I don't actually edge or highlight my Ghost Arks because I've just dry brushed them. So mine are actually fairly easy to paint, which is good. My cat doesn't want me trying anything, keeps sitting on my laptop and trying to order me stuff from Amazon. Ordering some cat food maybe. Yeah, I'm still waiting for payday. I get paid the last Friday of the month, so I've got another week left. It's been quite an expensive month this month. So I got the car and then had the dentist, had to have a filling. That set me back like 65 quid. God, look at that, only 3 left. Only 3 left. What do you guys prefer, Scorpec destroyers or Ophidian destroyers? It's a good question. I think Scorpecs generally, having something on the table, then you can buff them with the Chronomancer. I do like Ophidians. I played them on a reasonable amount, and they make a great deep striking distraction unit, especially in Novok, where you can re-roll +1 to the charge. Really useful. I think overall I would say Scorpex. Order a Russian bride, says the cat. I like the Scorpex because they're toughness 5 and -1 to wound strat. Yeah, he'll like me 22 years, which makes him actually older than me. We're working on 11th now, no doubt, no doubt. Scorpex are good. Wraiths I hate. I bet you hated them more when they were with a 3+ invulnerable save. That's when I did roll well. Oh, Wraiths, they used to survive forever. Yep, saved, saved, saved. Now it's like, didn't save, 3 damage. Oh, thanks, Rich. I think that's the thing with Necrons at the moment, is nothing that we've got feels overpowered. You know, like some instances, you have a unit and you just think, yeah, that's very good for the points. You know, like Thraka, for example, for the Orcs, like ridiculously cheap. Yeah, and we've got some good units. Let's say like the Nightbringer. Yeah, it's really good, but then the points. You know, you're paying the points for them. I never feel like I've got an overpowered unit. You know, was at one point like Wraiths? Yeah, they seemed overpowered. You know, they were really good. Yeah, Wraiths had a 3+ invulnerable save for all of the editions apart from this one, 9th edition. Yeah. They got rid of 3+ invulnerable saves on everything though. All armies lost 3+ invulnerable saves. And they used to be weapon skill 3, so they used to hit on 3s and not 4s. Yeah, Necrons were very different back in the day. They were literally hard to kill, you know. Hard to kill. That's what they were about. So they did a lot of damage and they were hard to kill. Now, where they were rubbish, we talk about the old days. So they used to be really good at shooting. They used to be really hard to kill. But they were always really, really bad in close combat. Even our close combat units weren't that great. We used to have initiative 2. So close combat was done on initiative order. So you start, the highest initiative goes first. Like Space Marines were usually initiative 5, and then the HQ might be, the HQ would be initiative 5, then Space Marines might be initiative 4. Like Blood Angels used to be initiative 5 on the charge, for example, so they would then strike first. But Necrons were initiative 2, so we always strike last. And not only that, but there used to be a special rule called the sweeping advance. So whoever lost combat used to take, I can't remember exactly how it worked, to be honest. You used to do some sort of morale check. And then you used to both roll a dice or 2 dice, and then if your opponent rolled more than you, then you were swept and basically the whole unit died. And that was a killer for Necrons because we very rarely could win an assault, so we were always vulnerable to sweeping advances. So we weren't, you know, we didn't like assaults effectively. 4th edition was quite assaulty, but obviously then it turned to 5th and 6th and 7th and possibly even 8th edition were more about shooting. More about assault. More about shooting. And then of course 9th edition now is more about assault. Smaller tables, you know, you get to your opponent much quicker, and it's all about hitting your opponent on the head. And GW gave us a few assault units, new assault units like the Scorpex and stuff, but ultimately, yeah, Necrons really are about shooting and about survivability. Nick, should I stay online for another 10 minutes without saying much? An eternity later, the live stream is still running. I broke Nick. I remember those days, and the friend I played against most was an orc player. So, yeah. Obviously, the very unusual, quirky thing that we used to have to put up with was phase out, which I don't think any Necron player misses. So yeah, if you lost 75% of your army, the army just disappeared. Now there was only one good thing about the phase out rule, is that you could turn around to your opponent and say, Necrons never die. Like, we don't die, you never kill us. You know, we just phase out. Phase out for the next game. But yeah, no, it was a bit of a pain, that rule. And I can't remember that. I think it used to be a great advantage to be going second, because it meant that you had that one turn. No, I can't remember if it was going second or going first, but one of them gave you the big advantage with the missions because of that phase out rule. Because usually at the end you sort of phased out. And if you did phase out on the last turn, either going second or going first, I can't remember which one it was an advantage. And that was back in the day when the dice roller would allow you to choose whether to go second or first, rather than now, if you win the dice off, then you're going first, basically. Yes, but he's almost finished it scraping. I have, almost. Almost. 2 guns. And I'm going to have a nice little break before I pick Necron Gun up from school. So, as I said, I've got this 3rd edition list, and there's one unit in there which I have to have. I can't have a 3rd edition list without it. What unit do you think it is? And warriors are a given, obviously. I'm going to have warriors in there. Casino dice. You're a bit behind the times, Rich, but yeah, you've got casino dice. Phase out was pretty cool. I miss it. Necrons are hard to kill, and it was a pretty fair roll. Yeah, fair play. As you say, if you're that survivable, then the rule probably stacked up. Right, another one done. Last one. Phase that happened when you had less than 25 of the army on the table, I think. Yeah, that's right. So you had basically 75% of your army had to be killed. When you get down to 25, you were gone. And oh, that's right. It was done at the beginning of your turn, right? Yes, right. So it was better to go first, because then, if you were under 25% on your opponent's last turn, it didn't affect you. That's right. Yeah, it's best to go first, so that you could be under 25% and still on the table in your opponent's last turn. That's right. That was it. Phase Out was iconic. It was, yeah, okay. There's a lot of fans for Phase Out. Surprised me. Don't forget we could bring back models even if the unit was destroyed. Yep, indeed we could. And then we could bring them back through the monolith, couldn't you, and get a re-roll with your RP. And then you used to join other units, do you remember that? You always had to have 2 units of everything for RP. And then if you died, if the whole unit was wiped out, you used to go and join another unit, if I remember rightly. There used to be some awesome old rules. 2 units had without number, destroyed unit got to be set back up on the board edge, come back. Yeah, I remember that. We sort of still have that, don't we? But in very limited capacity. Endless Swarm, wasn't it? We had Endless Swarm. I think that was 7th edition. Any guesses on the units that I have to have in my list? I could not make a 3rd edition list without having this unit. Done. That was good. That was good. I'm glad I persevered with them and got them done. I'm going to have to find up my codices from 4th and have a read. So there you go. Thank you very much, everyone. My battle report is just about to go up in 3 minutes' time, so hopefully you get to watch that and enjoy it. Thanks so much to everyone that's popped into the stream, been in the chat, and well, been company whilst I've scraped down all of these mould lines. For reference, the unit which I have to have in my 3rd edition list is the Monolith. Of course it's got to be the Monolith. Catch you soon.